stay tuned because for the next 60 minutes, Motorsports Unlimited is on the air. Hi, I'm Jerry Bryant, and these are the lovely ladies of motorsports. And all this hour, we're going to have 60 minutes of action-packed excitement. All kinds of exciting things will happen. And we got the famous Bill Wildt, and we got all kinds of other good stuff that's happening.
Hi, everybody. I'm Patty Borowitz, and this is the 1209th edition of Motorsports Unlimited. If you'll recall, during the last few weeks, we've been detailing how to go snowmobiling in the Chicagoland area and get it done in one day. First, it was the Heritage Corridor Snowmobile Trail along the I&M Canal southwest of Chicago. Then it was the Log Cabin in Antioch, Illinois on Route 173 and Wilmot Road, north of Chicago. Then it was Hoyer's in Richmond, Illinois on Route 12, northwest of Chicago. Finally, last week we took you to Whitewater, Wisconsin, about 20 or 30 minutes northwest of Hoyer's on Route 12. All of these places can be reached, used, and returned from in one day from the Chicago area. Whitewater, Wisconsin is worth going the extra distance because it is similar to going up north and close enough to do in one day. One of the most compelling features of Whitewater is Sherwood Forest, but we ran out of time last week and only got to the entrance. This week, we're going to take you in.
Today, we're returning to Whitewater, Wisconsin to continue our Whitewater snowmobile adventure. If you'll recall, a couple of weeks ago, we showed you how to go snowmobiling there, including information about where to park your car and trailer and how to access the trail system. We also showed you the entrance to Sherwood Forest, a notorious section of woods both beautiful and seductive. It was getting dark that day, and we didn't want a chance getting lost, so we didn't go in. Today we're going back in the daylight to show it to you. In addition, we've got lots of surprises on today's show, including a brake mean efficiency pressure comparison. We've got a lot of show for you today, so join us en route to Whitewater, Wisconsin.
We're on Route 12. We're actually in Wisconsin. We just crossed the Illinois-Wisconsin border. Hopefully the audience can see that we've got plenty of snow here, and of course these are always pretty rocky shots. And I must also say, by the way, that I do understand that the windshield is hard to see out of. So I don't know if you were actually able to see anything out of the windshield. Well, we've just passed Genoa City, and in a few moments we'll be passing Lake Geneva. We're on the way to Whitewater. A couple of weeks ago we took you to Whitewater, and Peggy, do you recall what we did there?
Snowmobile.
What do you mean?
We stopped at the Sherwood Forest.
Right. What Peggy is saying is that we took the time that Susan and Gloria, you guys now are snowmobile experts, right?
Oh yeah, I really am. I'm an expert at holding on to Peggy real tight.
Well, wait a minute. Gloria, you actually got to ride, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun too.
Right, okay, so you guys can all ride the snowmobiles, so we're not going to go through all that again. We've taught the girls how to ride the snowmobiles. We also showed you where to park and where to park your cars. By the way, let me mention one thing, because we're not going to stop there again. We've already done all that, but I don't know if we emphasize the point. If you're going to stop and leave your car and trailer at Frank's Marine in Whitewater, which is fine, that's...
Remember, this material was taped nearly 10 years ago. We have learned that Frank's Marine is no longer there, nor is Sherwood Forest, as we've experienced it. There are other options, though, and we'll explain as the program moves along. Hi, I'm Patty Borowitz, learning along with you.
And going off snowmobiling for 4 and 5 hours. In any event, where we ended up there is we showed you the trail that left Frank's Marine, that went down the road about an eighth of a mile, then turned into the trail, and we went along the trail, and we showed you where the turnoff was for Whitewater to go off. Frank's Marine is not actually in Whitewater, it's kind of on the outskirts of Whitewater, and if you were going by car, it would take you 4 or 5 minutes to get to Whitewater, but by snowmobile trail, it's about 40 minutes. Or if you're Chuck Itzenthaler and myself, it's liable to take you an hour and a half, because the next sign you'll see, it says Whitewater 9 miles in the direction we just came from, because we apparently missed the trail. So, but in any event, it's about a 40-minute ride from Frank's Marine to go to Whitewater. And I'd like to, hopefully today what we're going to do is we are going to pick up where we left off on the last program. The last program we told you about Sherwood Forest, and Gloria, what is there that they should know about Sherwood Forest? And lean forward to the microphone, please.
I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
The question is, what did I tell the people about Sherwood Forest that they needed to know?
I don't remember.
It's easy to get lost.
Yes.
Easy to get lost.
Easy to get lost with Bill.
Not just with Bill, it's easy to get lost by yourself. Explain what we mean, Peg.
Well, every time you've gone out, it's when it gets really dark, you can't, it just seems like it's a maze where it's never ending. Everything looks the same. You really have to pay attention to where you're going. And I'm not too good at that, and I know Bill is, because he's only talked about getting lost in there several times. So we'll see how we do today.
Hey, I got feelings, you know. What?
I know also the maps, when you try to look at the maps, they tell you one thing and then you don't know where you are anyway, so they're not very helpful. So watch out for those maps.
I guess I was just a little lost for words for a moment.
Yeah, that's all right. No, the Sherwood Forest is a unique place. Apparently, as I understand it, this was and we're going to be seeing that in a few moments. Apparently what this was at one time a projected housing development, and it apparently was abandoned many, many years ago. They had cut the roads, but the roads were never paved or anything, so the roads make wonderful trails. And the problem is the way this development was done, I guess it was over thousands of acres, the way it was done was all little curved streets, which aren't really streets. They were just,
As we understand it, Sherwood Forest, an abandoned subdivision project the guys so enjoyed years ago, is now part of a state park. We've been told the snowmobile trail runs through it, but we don't know if the maze of roads is still available. We'll find out if we ever get any snow.
So today we're going to get there during the day. We're going to take you into Sherwood Forest, I hope, and show you a little bit about it. It's a very cool place though, because it's very, what?
We'll get lost.
No, we're not going to get lost. But in addition to that, a lot of people I've talked to really don't know what to do with snowmobiles. Like going to Sherwood Forest is a great deal of fun because we go there and we just chase each other over hill and dale. We just have a great time. But that's not what most people do with snowmobiles. What most people do with snowmobiles is they take advantage of the wonderful general trail system. And the general trail system, they go from town to town and they stop at various places and all that. So I hope we're going to give you an illustration of that on today's program. We want to show you that Sherwood Forest, and that's where we left off on the show 2 weeks ago. But in addition to that, I hope we're going to take you guys on a little bit of a trip to Whitewater. What do you think, girls? We're looking forward to that?
Yeah. But you know, you told me it's really beautiful at night, that the lights are really spectacular. So maybe we should encourage everyone in our audience to go at night and see how they go. See if they get lost.
Well, you're exactly right. And if you stick to the regular trails, I'll tell you something, this sounds strange, but at night, you can very often see better than you do at the day. For one thing, the headlights, I don't know exactly what it is, when it's pitch dark and you have one little headlight, it's amazing how well it illuminates things, and you don't have the snow blindness problem at night where during the day everything looks white and it's real hard to see the small undulations in the trails going up and down. At night, that's real visible, and other sleds are also extremely visible because of the the headlights. That you can see the headlights very easily. And in addition to that, it's very spectacular at night. The scenery is just, now none of you guys have seen it at night, have you?
No, but the way you described it, how it's all illuminated, it seems really beautiful. So maybe one day we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Right, and if you stay on the regular trails, by the way, in case I'm giving you a misimpression, folks, if you stay on the regular trails, you won't have trouble getting lost at night or anything like that. The trails are all pretty well marked and well done. It's just this particular place, the Sherwood Forest, which we like because it's like having like a million racetracks all tied together, and we just race each other through these trails.
We've mentioned earlier that Frank's Marine is no longer there, but we've learned at the intersection of Route 12 and ES, there are 3 businesses that will allow you to park your car and trailer while you go snowmobiling. This means to go snowmobiling in Whitewater, Wisconsin, you take Route 12 to ES. Find a place to park, then jump on the trail to Whitewater with your sled. Cool!
We'll find it, don't worry, and hopefully the next time I'm talking to you, we're going to be standing by Sherwood Forest.
It was our intention to go directly to Frank's Marine, unload, ride to Sherwood Forest, and take you in. Except we were distracted on the way.
We have stopped on the side of the road. We're on ES looking for Highway A, and ES kind of blends into A. And as we were coming by here, we spotted something that takes me back years and years to my absolutely wonderful memories of motorcycle ice racing. I'm going to show you what I mean. Come on, girls. Come on with me. And by the way, this is going to be a rocky ride for you, folks. We're walking through snowbanks here. As you can see, we don't have our snowsuits on yet. Chuck, you're going to have to walk along with us. And Chuck, if you would, take your camera shot over there. I want you to see that the guys have got their vans and stuff. And then keep on coming down here. And Chuck, you're going to have to keep up a little bit better here because you're going to be out of focus if you don't. Keep right on going, girls. I know this seems crazy to you, but I got all enthused when we were going down the road, and I spotted guys on a little piece of frozen water here that had actually set up a motorcycle ice racing course. And it looks like we got one guy that's down and trying to recover. Keep going, girls. I just want to show you this. This is very cool. We did this years and years ago, and I did it for many years. Chuck, if you can, again, this is probably going to be real hard to do. Maybe we can get this fella to come on over here and talk to us and see what they're doing here. If you would, Chuck, take your camera shot over that way so we can see. We've got one guy that's still up, and we got a guy to the right with a snowblower. I don't know if that's obvious, actually trying to clear the track. This is a lot of snow, and Chuck, you better come over. You're going to be out of focus if you don't. Better come with me. Let's find out what this fellow is doing. It looks like he's the guy that went down. First of all, who are you?
Hi, I'm Dave Doe.
Where are you from?
In Milwaukee.
Okay, as a matter of fact, I did motorcycle ice racing for many, many years. We used to do it by Mineola Bay on Fox Lake, if you remember. And it seems to me that that's all gone away. You guys do this out here regularly, or you're just out here fooling around?
We're just out here fooling around, just a bunch of our friends. I road race, and we just gives us something to do in the wintertime, come out here and have some fun.
Well, we did it for because I used to race flat track racing, and it seemed like when the season started all the time, we were always out of shape compared to the guys that were from Texas and Louisiana and all that, and it kept us in shape over the winter. You find the same thing?
Oh yeah, plus it helps you slide the bike around, when you're road racing. It really helps you develop a technique so that you get used to sliding the bike, when you're going slow out here, and then that translates to when you're going really fast on a road race track. So it's
and most of all, it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's a riot.
Well, yes.
He's even got a friend of yours is plowing with the snowblower.
Oh yeah, no, we point out we've got. In fact, Chuck, you want to see an exercise in futility? Swing your shot around, stay full wide. Look at the size of this place. Keep going. This poor guy with the snowblower thinks he's gonna clear a racetrack over here.
Take turns. We just take turns with the snowblower, and actually we're gonna go out and do the 3-hour ice endurance race next week with the 250 and all three.
Where's that going to be?
Lake Koshkonong.
How close is that around here?
It's down by Burlington.
Okay, so it's a reasonable. Okay, folks, just so you know, there's still motorcycle ice racing going on. Again, I thought I was going to give you the scoop that this was a weekly thing they did here. Where you're just out playing.
We're out playing, but usually we show up here every weekend. Just
Really?
It's a nice little place. There's no houses on the lake, so you're not bothering anybody, and basically you can come out and have some fun.
Susan?
Yeah, I would think if the guys come out here and they practice in the winter, they're probably really good once they hit the dry pavement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, and Chuck, follow them around a little bit, if you would. I'll tell you something, Susan, you're exactly right. As a matter of fact, when we started doing this years ago, we did it to stay in shape during the winter, and what it ended up being, we actually look forward to the ice racing almost more than we did the season because it's so much fun. It really is a gas. Anyhow, thanks for spending a little time with us. I don't want to hold you any longer. Folks, yes, go ahead.
This is my partner, Rick Brewer, out here, and then the guy out on the bike right now, that's John Weiss. And, Rick and I, we teach Learning Curves Road Racing School, and we're just out here having fun, goofing around.
Well, you must know my friend Dan Schmidt.
Oh, yeah, we know Dan.
Okay, well, sure. And Dan, by the way, the guy that you want to call, the guy that does the Team Chicago Challenge, he's the guy you want to call to find out the phone numbers for all this stuff and all there. You can give me a call, and I'll give you his phone number. Yes?
No, Susan had a question.
What's the name of this lake and what's the depth of it? Because I'm wondering if that affects the types of lakes that you pick, because if it's really deep,
No, this thing isn't more than 3 or 4 feet deep.
Oh, okay.
So even if you broke through, you wouldn't care.
No, you
Then
wouldn't.
it's ideal.
Okay, Chuck, one more shot over here. Take a look. This is the man, the exercise in futility, with that tiny little snowblower doing the entire lake. Just tell the folks who you are.
Rick Brewer.
Rick, you got a long day in front of you, buddy.
Exercise and futility. Heck, I'm giving this up and going to watch the Packer game in a little while.
There you go. A motorsport fan is actually going to watch some football. And Chuck, finish your shot up over there so we can get a look. We actually had a real motorcycle. Give us a wave.
I'm glad we stopped. The guys were having a great time, and motorcycle ice racing is another way to enjoy the winter. We got back in the van and completed our trip to Whitewater. Then we rode to Sherwood Forest. Join us now as we prepare to check it out.
I think what we should establish right off the bat so the audience understands what's going on. A couple of weeks we introduced you to this little Hi8 Handycam that Sony has that I keep calling our toy camera because it is so tiny compared to what we normally
This was at least a decade before we acquired a high-tech digital helmet cam that changed everything. As you can see, Bill is excited about what they might be able to do with the much smaller television camera.
Something that we can live with in order to get you this great footage in here. Now, first of all, we have just come through the trails that we showed you 2 weeks ago, and I didn't want to go through the whole thing again, but to re-emphasize how pretty is it up here. What do you think, Peggy?
It's just breathtaking.
Agreed?
It's beautiful. Agreed.
Even Susan, scaredy cat Susan?
Yeah, I'm getting a nice view of the back of Peggy. It's great.
No, it really is. And the problem with this is, Peggy, now you girls haven't seen the footage we shot last time. You've seen a little bit of the footage, and it just doesn't do justice to it on television, does it?
No, it doesn't. You really have to come out and just witness it for yourself and experience it. It's wonderful.
And something else that you can't tell on television, and again, this is all because we're using different equipment for this. This has got sort of a consumer kind of an audio where it's I won't explain the whole thing, but it's an automatic setting. It's something I don't normally want to use. So we're not going to get the kind of pure sound that I'd like to get. However, what do you hear right now? It's so dead silent out here. Isn't it incredible?
Wind and a snowmobile in the background.
way in the background. Other than that, it's like dead silent, and that's something you can't bring about on television, you know?
No, we had talked about that 2 weeks ago. We were just sitting there. I said, listen, it's kind of eerie that it's so silent. We're not used to that.
Right, it's dead silent. Chuck, as we're talking, if you would, maybe pan your camera shot around and show the audience what we're talking about here. This is an absolutely gorgeous thing, and I hope our regular, in fact, Chuck, go all the way around, and I hope our sharp-eyed viewers are going to recognize, if you keep going, that a couple of weeks ago when you heard Peggy do her next week on the snowmobile promoting the first Whitewater show, that's where she came from, right over that hill and down, and I identified at that time that we are at the entrance to Sherwood Forest, and as I've explained, this is a wonderful feature of going snowmobiling in the Whitewater, Wisconsin area, is this just absolutely terrific forest. And what this is, as I understand it, and I'm not a historian, but this is what the guys said, that this was going to be a development at one time, and it just never came about, and apparently that was many years ago. So these roads that you see here, none of this stuff, and Chuck, again, show the audience, none of this stuff is paved here or anything, but it's obvious that they cut the roads like they were going to build the homes and all that, and it apparently never happened, and as I understand it was abandoned many years ago. So it has just become this, for those of us, now you guys don't quite get this because what you've seen on snowmobiling so far is just kind of going along on the trails, right? Well, what we do when we come out here, like Chuck and I were out here a week ago and just enjoying the heck out of ourselves, and Bober and Don French and all the guys we were up here, and what we do is we chase each other around these trails like wild Indians. And I'm going to tell you something, it's something that there's no way I can bring you on television. There is so much fun. Now, what we've got here, by the way, is I've got a 440 Yamaha SRX, and I'm going to tell you, it's an 81, and it's an absolute bullet. Maybe the fastest 440 sled ever built, over 100 horsepower, and I can't bring it to you on television, the thrill that it is when that thing tries to get out from underneath you as you're banked over sideways in a corner with full throttle. It is an absolute rush. Does that sound like a rush to you or no?
I went 100 one time when you weren't looking.
That's true.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, but that was straight away on an open lake, though.
Right, that was different. I felt safer. I don't think I could do that in here.
It is so much fun in here, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got to get some shots of you, Bill, fooling around, going really fast.
That's
Well,
right.
again, it's something I wish I had a way to capture. It's one of the frustrating things I found about television. Motorsport is so cool, and it's cool on a number of levels. You can come out here and enjoy this just for the wonderful scenery and the woods and all that, and just enjoy that. Or you can come out here to enjoy the rush of fine machinery, which is also another kind of, and that part of it I have a hard time bringing to the public. Now, enough of that, because we want to get you guys. We came back. This is where we left the show last time. We didn't want to take you into Sherwood Forest because it was getting dark, and unless you're familiar with this thing, you don't go in here when it's dark because you can't find your way out.
I do have a question. When we're entering across the street, after we come down that hill and come up again, there's a sign that says Whitewater left.
That's correct.
Where are we? How are we going? This is it here?
Let's take a look over by the map. Chuck, come with us. Girls, over here. I sort of get it. Let's see if we can get it over here. These little stakes are in this thing, and I can remember when we were lost in the middle of the night, right over here so Chuck can get in. When we were lost in the middle of the night, there are several of these signs located at strategic locations here in the Sherwood Forest. To give you an idea where you're at, I can tell you, if you're not familiar with the area, these things are almost useless, although they look a little bit better this year than the times before. And one of the problems is it's hard to figure out exactly where you're at. Now, they say TAC shows your location, and I know you probably can't see that, but that's what that says, Chuck. TAC shows your exact location, so here's the TAC right here. And what I'm guessing where we are is because this says to Whitewater here. And the trail that you were talking about, we came across that highway over here and came down this road along here and right here. Well, this is 12 out here, yeah. And we came to here, and you saw that sign that said Whitewater that way, and we continued in here and brought us right down to here. So we're right here right now.
What does it say? Abandoned roads.
Abandoned roads. These are all abandoned roads.
Bill,
Yeah.
I think that's really risky having like a tack in there because anybody could be really rude and just take it out and put it somewhere else.
Well, one of the things we want to do on Motorsports Unlimited is to help. We don't want snowmobilers to do that, and they've got to understand we all depend on each other not to do those things because, for that matter, they can tear the whole sign off. It's not hard to do that, but how stupid? Not only that, how stupid can you be? We all depend on this stuff, so it's just stupid. So in any event, we're in here, and this is a little bit of the layout of these. Now, what we're going to do is for the first circuit that we take here is we're going to go down this road. Chuck, if you'd show the audience, we're going to go down this road over here. Come with me, girls. We're going to go down this road, and we're going to make only right turns. And we're going to make, over here, girls, we're going to make only right turns, and we're going to only do this. And I'm sorry, is something going on?
No, we're just joking about the tack.
Oh, okay. We're going to make only right turns, and we're going to make every right turn we can, and that should bring us right back to here. That's going to be our first foray into this little wooded area. Yes.
Have you done this yourself, or is this something somebody told you?
Chuck and I did it last week so we could prepare ourselves for it.
Oh,
exactly, yes.
I'll let everyone know that today's the day of the Super Bowl, so we're all going to get lost, and we're going to come home way after the Super Bowl, and you guys are going to have to let us know what really happened.
Remember, this was originally taped in 1998. The Super Bowl they're talking about was Super Bowl 32.
Come spring.
Bill keeps talking about how easy it is to get lost in Sherwood Forest, so we thought we'd better take a moment to introduce ourselves before somebody turned up missing.
Hi, I'm Susan Russell.
I'm Peggy O'Donnell.
And I'm Gloria Walters.
Thank you, girls. Now let's take our first peek at what we can see in Sherwood Forest.
All right, folks, we are trying our first foray into Sherwood Forest, and I don't know if Chuck can hear me or not, but if he can, I hope in addition to shooting the girls, he's panning off to the right and the left a little bit. This is some really, really, really pretty country. Now I know that we don't go very far up this road, and we're going to have an opportunity to make our first right turn, and that's what we're going to do so that we don't get lost. And I see it's right up there right now. You can't see it because he's shooting backwards. But it's maybe about 50 yards ahead, and I'm going to swing over to the left a little bit so I can get a little better run at it, and then I'll make a right turn, and here we go. And you will notice as okay, hopefully you notice that you could have gone straight there, but we made the turn. I'm knocking Chuck off the back of the sled, and folks, if you saw this, you'd die laughing, because what they've done is they've tied Chuck to me in an effort to keep him on the sled, and I don't know if it's working or not. Remember, an SRX is a high-performance sled. It only has room for one person, and we're trying to put two persons with a camera on here. If you're still seeing any pictures that you can actually look at, and I hope you are, I hope you're really paying attention to the scenery. It is absolutely beautiful. I have not been presented with any choices to make here as far as right or left turns, and again, as we explained earlier, the first opportunity to make a right, I'm going to make a right. And if it goes the way Chuck and I scouted this thing a week ago, it should bring us right back to where we started from, I hope. Again, Chuck, show the audience the scenery. I hope the girls are keeping up. I can't look back. Again, folks, if you could see how we're doing this, that would make an episode of Motorsports Unlimited in and of itself. Now here's my opportunity to make a right, so I'm making my right turn here. And as you can see, there was another road that intersected this. And let's see, do I have another chance to make a right here? I believe I do. Yes, I do. And I'll make a right again. This is so pretty in here. So pretty. I hope Chuck is holding on. It feels like I'm about to lose him. I hope I'm not. I have a feeling we're going to have to stop in a very few short seconds to replan our strategy on how to shoot this footage. Ah, yes. Here we are. I can see us. We are now approaching where we left off, where we started from. We're going to stop here now. This is back where we started from. If you pan to the right, Chuck, you will see that. Or to my left, your right, I guess.
Even that small little look shows how pretty Sherwood Forest is. Next, Bill put the mic on me and told me to lead. He wants me to bypass the first right turn, go to the second, and find my way back. It sounds easy enough. Let's try it. Okay, Okay, we're going now. We're going forward. We just passed a snowmobiler. They look like they're having a lot of fun. I think they're just going around in circles. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here because it's pretty packed down. We had a little bit of a rough time going up the first right. Now Bill tells us to go to the second right, and it should connect and meet up with the forest once again. But the trails do have a lot of powdery snow, which you really have to push the throttle in order to get up the hills. You really have to gun it to get to where you're going. Now we're encountering a little more of the powdery snow up here. It's not quite as packed. But here we're coming up to the second right, and I'm going to see if we can find our way around and see if it'll meet up. This is beautiful out here, guys. You really have to come out to experience it yourself. Got to take the corners a little bit slower. I do have a passenger with me. Everybody on Motorsports Unlimited knows the Pegster likes to go really fast, but in this case I have to take care of both of us. So it's up to me to lead the pack and be careful. It was a bit of a rough ride on the trails. It was real bumpy, but it was a lot of fun. I just can't see going fast there. Here you can take the speed up a little bit. I'm going to try to maintain the speed a little bit more. Really don't know where I'm going, but we're going to see. I'm just going to follow it around and just continue with right. So, okay, that's a left. We're going to go to the right. Follow it around. I can see Bill getting lost here at night, or anybody for that matter. It just seems like the woods all look the same. I think it'd be really hard to distinguish where you're going without markers and such. But this is beautiful. It's a nice day. It's about 32 degrees out. Super Bowl Sunday. Not a lot of people, as we mentioned earlier in the show. We're having a good old time snowmobiling. I do have the throttle down now. You might be able to hear it on the mic. It is a lot more powdery. I'm going to go right. I'm going to try right. Let's see what's the right way. I just have to push it in. It just doesn't want to go as fast. But it's not too bad here. It's pretty solid. If we get lost,
we would love to have had today's digital video and audio equipment back then. We know it's a little hard to hear, especially when Peggy gets out of range, but we think you get the idea.
we're on top. This doesn't look like the right place. I don't know. It's just gorgeous. Ooh, kind of slips flying away. If anybody's never been snowmobiling before, you're really missing out. TV honestly just does not do its justice. You really have to come out and do this yourself. I'm going to take another right. This doesn't look familiar. Stop. Keep going, keep going. Okay. Just looking back at Bill, getting the okay. I don't recognize anything yet, but regardless, I could go around in circles all day. I don't mind. It's a beautiful day today. There he goes. Okay, now let's see. We're just going right again. Oh no, I think we're going left. No, we're gonna stop. I think we're gonna stop now. I admit it, I was lost. I would not have been able to find my way out. Fortunately, Bill is more familiar with the area.
I knew it with just one little tiny piece of this enormous woods. I wanted to demonstrate how easy it was to get lost. It's easy, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you what happened. We had her make the right past the first right that we made, and she did that just fine, and she made the right, and she kept making rights, and what she didn't realize was she came back to the place where the first right that we ignored, she came back down that thing because obviously the second one sort of joined in with that one, and when she got to the bottom of that, didn't really recognize she needed to make a left turn there and continued to make a right, and at that moment you were lost.
I was lost, I admit it.
Absolutely. And what I want the public to understand, first of all, this is a wonderful place to come, the Sherwood Forest. In fact, girls, come with me. Chuck, come on with the camera. Precede us with the camera shot. Show the audience this. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous here, just absolutely beautiful. And as we look around, girls, keep coming because I want the audience to see that. And come over here. Just keep coming with your shot, Chuck. Girls, all the way around over here, please. Keep right on coming. Take a look down here, Chuck. Show the audience that section too. And the problem is there are literally dozens of intersections like this, and this is so picturesque the way it's laid out. It's all laid out as like rolling countryside, and no roads are the same, no two turns are the same, no intersections are the same. And the problem is, and that's what I was just trying to demonstrate, it doesn't take long to get turned around, does it?
No, it doesn't. I'd seen the map too, and I thought, I don't know if I'm going the right.
That was a different map, by the way.
When I saw him, you're just turning. You didn't really stop and get out and look and remember where I was, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's wonderful fun. But I can tell you, after 3.5 hours being lost in here at 3 in the morning, after a while you do start to get a little concerned. Like, are we ever going to find our way out of here?
This is daylight. I can't imagine.
Matter of fact, wait a minute. I'm going to interrupt you, Chuck. Bring your camera shot around. We got guys coming right here now. Some people enjoying the trails. I want to make sure we get a shot of them coming around the corner. Keep following him, Chuck. Follow him up the hill. Just go right with it. That's a shame. We missed the wheelie. But that is the joy of snowmobiling. Just what they're doing. Like they're apparently a father with his son.
And they match.
And with matching, all the girls, by the way, you should see all the guys in here with the great matching outfits with their sleds and everything like that. We're not quite up to speed on that. She's got a Polaris coat. I've got a Polaris snowsuit. But we're riding Yamaha sleds, so we don't match exactly. But we're having fun anyway. In any event, I hope this gives a little bit of an idea of what Sherwood Forest is all about. Yes?
Well, I know what you were saying earlier, Bill. Like, if somebody gets lost out here, they're on their own. So I guess snowmobiling really is a sport. You have to be tough. You have to be independent. And you have to be responsible.
You're exactly right, and let's make that point. Motorsports in general is one of those things. I don't care if you're boating, I don't care. We tend to be on the leading edge. We're not going to be people, it's just the nature of our community. We're not likely to be people that are going to follow well-trod paths. And while that's a wonderful pioneering experience, remember the rule. Pioneers take the arrows, the settlers get the land. So
I love the way he speaks. He just...
Oh, isn't that sweet? But in any event, it's true. So I want to urge you, I don't care if you're doing motorcycles or if you're doing boats or if you're doing snowmobiles or what you're doing, heads up, folks. Don't expect the government to hold your hand. Don't expect somebody to come. Make sure that you're independent and self-dependent. And I'll tell you something, that's one of the reasons there's so much camaraderie in snowmobiling. If you notice, every snowmobiler that's come by, every time we've stopped to fix a fool with our microphones and try to make it work better and all that, they've all stopped to see if we were okay. We all do that with each other because we all know we're in the same boat. There's going to be no government agency coming along here to help us out, so we kind of work with each other. And that's kind of part of the joy of snowmobiling.
A couple of questions occurred to me as soon as we stopped taping, and Bill always wants the questions on air.
Peggy asked the question while we went off camera just after that piece because she sees people, for example, when I'm leading the pack and all of a sudden she'll see my hand go up and she's watching other snowmobilers when they come by here, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in a bunch, and they see the lead snowmobiler throw his hand up and the next one throw their hand up and all that, and she's kind of asking all of that what that means. It doesn't have an exact meaning, but it is important what they're doing. Whenever, particularly the leader, because a lot of times the people behind the leader, they're getting his spray and they don't see so well. So when the leader throws his hands up, it means pay attention, heads up. It might be another sled coming your way. It might be a steep downhill. It might be a sharp turn. It might be a hole in the trail. What he's trying to do is call your attention, heads up. You know, if you're daydreaming, pay attention now. Something is going on. You asked a question off camera about safety courses and things like that.
Right.
We do have the snow. Yes, the snowmobile clubs work in conjunction with the state, and they give the safety courses for the kids from 12 to 16 or whatever it is. But beyond that, I can tell you this. Snowmobiling is just a wonderful community. If you have any questions, if you're interested in this stuff at all, give us a call and we'll put you in touch with snowmobiles, or give any snowmobile club a call. These people welcome new folks with open arms, and they will be glad to, I don't care how timid you are, they'll be glad to take people by the hand, teach them what they need to know, what the do's and don'ts of the trails. The one thing I'm going to mention real quick, in fact, I got a couple things I want to say real quick, and then we got to get on the trails again. Real quick, is the most important thing to all of these clubs is stay on the trails. You can see the markers. Chuck, take your camera shot around over here. You see, I don't know if that's because you're on a real broad shot, but there's like a wooden post there with an orange diamond marker on it. That's a trail marker. And the trails, you've seen them, Peggy. The trails are quite well.
They're all over.
They're all over.
There's no reason why anyone should have to leave the trail.
There really isn't. And remember, nobody has to let us use this property. Nobody has to make this available to us. So we owe these people a terrific debt of gratitude. And it's a small thing to ask for, to ask us to stay on the trails.
Well, also, I see that sign. It says snowmobile and horses, and we also pass some skiers. So you never know who you're going to see on the trail, too.
And what would happen if the leader threw his hand up? It might be coming the other way, a cross-country skier. We've seen that already today. Their cross-country skier was coming our way. And it's a matter of courtesy. We want to make sure that we're good neighbors and that we share these trails with other people that want to use them. As a matter of fact, this can really work well because it has already happened where skiers have been injured and snowmobilers have been able to take them out pulled out on stretcher-like sleighs and all that. So we can really work well together. You know, it's actually, it really is. It's really worthwhile. Now, one other thing, I don't know if the audience noticed earlier, I'm kind of covered up now. Peggy, you can't see yours either. We are proudly once again wearing our Toys for Tots sweatshirts.
Chuck has his on today too, just by chance today. We
just by sheer coincidence. And the reason I'm making this point is, folks, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get tired of hearing me talk about Toys for Tots, but it was a revelation this year when we covered the Toys for Tots event, both the parade and the party. If I ever ran into a group that deserves a pat on the back, it's the entire Toys for Tots bunch, the motorcyclists, the Marines, the entire thing. As we go along throughout the course of the year, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this. Trust me when I tell you this. The parade that they put on, the party is only a tiny part of what they do. You have no idea. I had no idea how much effort goes into this, all for the sake of making sure some kids have a Christmas that wouldn't normally have a Christmas. It's really a wonderful group. So I'm proud to wear the sweatshirt, and I'm proud to be associated with these people. And I hope as we go on here a little bit, you'll come to have that same feeling. Yes, Susan?
I just wanted to add, like, a beautiful feeling was people in the street throwing up these big stuffed animals. So it really felt like, okay, everyone's trying to contribute. So that was like the beautiful moment for me.
You're exactly right, and what she's talking about is during the parade, and as a matter of fact, what I hope to do is, yes, I want to create some tolerance in the city of Chicago, and most people are quite tolerant, but if people, I'm a person that believes that tolerance comes through understanding. Once people know what the parade is all about and why there's this slight inconvenience, they'll be glad to sit there and wait and let this thing go by, because think of the parade as a train carrying toys to needy children, because that's exactly what it is. And eventually my goal would be so that all of Chicago turns out on Western Avenue on the first Sunday, it's first Sunday in December, right? On the first Sunday in December, all the city of Chicago turns out, they're all lining the streets, and if you can't contribute a toy, at least give these guys a round of applause as they go by. But if you can, they've got sidecars that are going along. As a side, they'll pull over, put a toy in the sidecar, and if the sidecars get full, they always follow with tractor trailers. It's really a wonder. And I can tell you one other thing. Somebody mentioned to me that I didn't even think about. He has been contributing to Toys for Tots for many, many years, and he says it's the one charity, and I'm sure there are others, but he says it's the one charity that I know that the stuff goes where it's supposed to go. And I can tell you that now that I've been involved with these guys, boy, does it go where it's supposed to go. These guys, you talk about people with their heart in the right place. It's really a wonderful charity. Yes, somebody?
But on that note, when she was saying in the parade, we had such a warm feeling to see all the smiles, and everyone was just happy and cheering everyone on. Oh, you've got to be involved with it.
And then when we finally arrived, that big room full of toys, that was amazing. See all these toys piled up, and great toys too. I mean, toys that kids would like die to win at a fair, like really big toys.
No, again, it's really a wonderful thing, and again, I hope I can play some small role and help it become even more. Believe me, it's terrific successful without my help, and if I can play a small role and make it a little more successful, I'd be glad to. Now we've got to move on. Yes,
we were proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Now we have to move on, because what we've got to do now is what I promised the audience. I said we're going to take you into Sherwood Forest when we come back here. I've given you the idea. Chuck, I want you to take him to a complete full circle. Just make a nice walk around so the audience can see these intersecting roads, or whatever you want to call them. Keep going all the way around, and the absolutely beautiful scenery that we have here. Trust me, this is miles and miles of this stuff, and I know it doesn't show that well on camera because it's all white, but this is all very three-dimensional too. It's up and down, and it's just wonderful, wonderful thing. Pardon me?
There's a variety of trees too. I mean, some of the trees are holding the leaves, some of the trees are like thin, some have been here for ages, so it's like a whole panorama of trees.
It's truly a winter wonderland here, but I also said there's something else. Now this is what crazy people like myself and the friends that I go out riding with, we just yearn for something like this where we can have these kind of trails to chase each other around in for hours. We absolutely love this, but most people don't do that. Most people take advantage of the traditional trails that actually go someplace. When you go in here, you're not interested in getting anywhere, you're just interested in having fun in the trails. But what I want to do with you guys now is I want to see if we can get, what do you think? Can we get all the way to Whitewater?
I hope so, Bill.
Definitely.
Is there an outhouse planted somewhere?
No, there is no. Maybe this isn't a girl's sport. What do you think?
I don't have to go. I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. Mark this down. Peggy O'Donnell says she doesn't have to go.
No.
Believe me. Well, never mind.
Don't go away.
No. In any event, folks, so what we're going to do now is they've seen enough of Sherwood Forest. Peggy was already lost, right? Yeah. Okay, so we've seen enough of Sherwood Forest. We're going to go back to where the sign is, where you can either go straight and you go to Sherwood Forest, or you make the turn and go to Whitewater. And we're going to go back there. We'll talk to you again and show you what we're going to do there. And hopefully we're going to get you to Whitewater, and we'll give you an idea of what people do when they go out trail riding on snowmobiles. It's going to be fun, so don't go away.
Sherwood Forest is beautiful, but we were looking forward to actually going somewhere by snowmobile. Bill brought us back to the crossroads to pick up the trail going to Whitewater.
We have just come from Sherwood Forest back to this area. This is how we got here. Chuck, if you would, show the audience that way. That goes off to Sherwood Forest, about a half a mile down that way. And if you come over here, Chuck, again, I want to point out to the audience, it's not hard to find to follow the trail markers. Again, because we're using the kind of equipment we're using today. We probably don't have the highest quality picture, but you can see that these are big diamond-shaped orange signs with an arrow going this way. This says Whitewater with an arrow going that way. And by the way, going straight this way is what takes you to Sherwood Forest. But the more commonly used trail, you can see that not a lot of guys go down this way. If you would, swing your shot over here, Chuck, and show the audience, this is the trail that goes off to Whitewater, and it's about a 30 or 40 minute jaunt, and that's where I want to take you guys and show you how the people go from town to town out here and just spend a wonderful afternoon that way. Girls, what do we think so far? Now, we know that my SRX is bullet fast, but I don't think any one of you guys want to start this thing, do you?
No, no. You go through too much doing it.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're dealing with here is, and I hope we're going to shoot a piece about this, is that we're going to have Peggy try this, a little bit of a speed run on the 440 she's running. They make about 50 horsepower, and this one is also a 440, identically sized engine. This is Motorsports Unlimited. I want the girl to experience how different the tuning of these can be. And Chuck, if you would, take your shot around. Let's catch these snowmobilers coming by as they're coming by. Now, by the way, you notice he put up his hand. The reason he put up his hand is because he saw us coming. He saw us down here, and they're looking over to see if we need any help. They're just looking over. That's a courtesy that all snowmobilers do. They're looking over to see if we need any help, and they see that we waved them off, said that we don't, and they're going off about their business. They're going back off to one of the other towns that's off in that direction. Yes?
I'm noticing something here with the suspension. Does that have something to do with it?
With what?
Your power?
No, it has nothing to do with the power. Okay, well, you think about it a little bit, and in the meantime, we're going to take off for Whitewater. As a matter of fact, Susan, probably time to put the mic on you, or go. Whose turn is it? Susan, your turn. We're going to put the mic on Susan, and she's going to express herself.
We were looking forward to going to Whitewater by snowmobile trail, so let's get started.
Sherwood Forest, as they've experienced it 10 years ago, is gone. But not all is lost. As you can see, the extensive trail system in the Whitewater area is also very cool.
Unfortunately, Susan's mic slipped down her jacket and it's difficult to hear her, but the trail footage is pretty and we want you to see it. Bill brought us to a stop because he wanted Susan to try driving. Let's see how she does as we continue to Whitewater.
It's a shame you can't hear what Susan is saying, but she is bursting with enthusiasm.
After a while, Bill spotted a straight level area and had something special in mind for me.
This is a perfect opportunity. We've got no traffic here right now. We've got a nice flat little area. Peggy, I don't want you to go that far. That's not the idea. What I'm trying to demonstrate is the difference in brake mean efficiency pressure. That's a technical term really for how much power you're making in any specific size engine. You know that this is a 440 engine. This is a 440 Yamaha sled.
Okay.
But this is a fan-cooled motor. This is the lowest performance, the lowest end of the performance line. I want you to try a little full throttle blast just down here about 50 yards, a full throttle blast so you can feel what it feels like.
Okay.
And then we're going to put you on the SRX, which is also a 440, exactly the same size engine. I want you to tell me if you can feel any difference. Both Yamahas, both 440s, and I want you to tell me if there's any difference. Now, can you do that?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go right ahead. Jump on.
Here we go. Bye. You can quickly get out of microphone range, and it's amazing how fast snowmobiles accelerate. Now let's try that SRX and see if I feel the difference.
Don't touch the switch. Okay? Give it a full blast.
Wow, What a difference! The SRX is a bullet. I wonder why it's so much faster.
Woo, baby!
Okay, did you feel any difference?
Yes, it felt, I could just feel the wind and everything. It's just incredible.
It's an awesome difference.
It's fast. Woo.
Yeah, it's an awesome, and yet exactly the same size engine. Now, what
That
do you
is
suppose accounts for
weird.
that?
I don't know. I don't know why. What is the
That's when
difference?
We talk about things like compression, and when we talk about things like the porting on two-cycle engines. This engine runs at 10,500 RPM. The one you were riding is running around 7,500 RPM, 8 at the most. So it's tuned for higher performance, higher RPM, bigger carburetors, more compression. This is a liquid-cooled engine that can deal with the heat much better. This is a very high-performance engine.
Ooh, you feel it.
No doubt about it. But what do you give up to get that high performance?
The starting way?
Isn't it a pain in the
Yeah.
neck to
Oh,
start?
to see what you're going
See?
through.
Okay, so
But
that's
that is
the balance.
fun.
That's the balance. But it's a rush when you
It is.
Okay, we're going to continue on to Whitewater. I just wanted to make this point.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, you could feel the difference. Oh my God! As soon as I took off.
Boy, what a way to make a point about brake mean efficiency pressure. It's amazing how identically sized engines can perform so differently. Now, we were going to continue to show you the trail to Whitewater, but our microphone batteries died. Let's pick up the story in the heart of Whitewater, Wisconsin.
The best laid plans of mice and men, if you know the rest of that saying, I'm not sure I can recall it right now because we're a little cold. It was supposed to be Gloria's turn to give her observations on the trail, and what happened?
It just, the mic didn't work very well.
Right, exactly. We ran out of batteries on the microphone, so we had to come in. We are right now in Whitewater, and if you would, Chuck, take your shot and swing over here. This is one of the places that we stop for a soft drink, right, Peggy? We normally a soft drink, right? Yeah, okay. That when we're out snowmobiling, this is the Whitewater stop, and we came here to do this. And Susan, go run over on the door and take a look, and come back and tell us what it says on the door. We weren't able to stop for our usual soft drink here, but we were, if you would, Chuck, pan to the right. The Citgo gas station over there, fortunately, had batteries for our microphone. So we're back in business. So what does the sign say on the door?
It says, close today until after the game. Go Pack!
Oh, brother. You know we're in Wisconsin. Us Chicago people haven't been enthused about football for about a year now, maybe 2, something like that. So in any event, we're in Wisconsin. This is Super Bowl Sunday. They're all enthused.
Remember, they're talking about Super Bowl 32 in 1998.
This is the way these towns arrange this thing. These towns that kind of cater to the snowmobilers. If you notice, the trail goes right here across the street, and then you see, in fact, you see a snowmobile coming right now. What that's coming off of the trail system we were just on. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put the microphone on Gloria and have Gloria narrate a little bit as we return back to the last intersection that took us over here to Whitewater. What I'm trying to give you the idea is what to do with snowmobiles once you have them. You don't all have to run around like crazy Indians like me and my friends. There's a lot of other fun things to do on snowmobiles, and these people go from town to town to town to town, and it's really pretty cool. So I think it's time to get on to things. You have something quickly?
Yeah, I just want to say we went through a farm field and that was spectacular too.
One thing real quick. I bet you guys agree. Do we owe these farmers a debt of gratitude for allowing us? Number one, yes, round of applause, not just the farmers, the snowmobile clubs. Without the farmers and the snowmobile clubs letting us use this property and preparing the trails, we don't have a sport. So tip of the hat to all of you guys. And before I use up this whole thing, let's make sure we get a little bit of Gloria telling what she sees.
With fresh microphone batteries, we left Whitewater and headed home.
Well, we're leaving Whitewater, going back to Frank's Marine. We have another snowmobiler passing by. It's a little bumpy here, so hopefully you can hear me and understand everything I'm saying. I'm going to come around a corner here. Last path that we had rode was a little bit snowy, loose snow. This one seemed to be packed a little bit farther, and I need to speed up to catch up to these girls here. Since this is an open path, I can do just that. It's kind of hard to talk and drive at the same time. We got some houses on the left here that are willing to let us use the trails here. Very good to us. And I hope that Chuck is getting the shot of a little bit of everything here on the right. It's a little bumpy here. We're coming across a road here, so we're going to have to slow down and look both ways. And before we cross here, we see a car come, a couple cars coming, so we're going to have to come to a stop and let these cars pass by so we can clear the way. And have to wait until Peggy I'm going to wait for these couple cars to go by. Across the track, catch up to Peggy. Path is clear. Give Peggy the go ahead. Coming around the corner here, pretty bumpy. This is a pretty bumpy path here. I'm not used to bumps. It's only my second time, but I'm enjoying every minute of it. And you can see those different three on the left and right. Peggy's checking back to make sure everybody's caught up, which is good, so we don't lose each other. Got nice open wide path here.
While we're returning to Bill's van and trailer, we would like to acknowledge those who helped update this episode of Motorsports Unlimited. Rena Borowitz, our webmaster Frank Barbalace, Sue Cassanda, Samantha Bentley, Janine Lauschat, and me, I'm Patty Borowitz, hoping there is snow on the ground in Chicagoland as you watch this. Take your sled out.
Don't forget me, I'm May Chen.
Now, doesn't that look like fun? It is, but unfortunately, we're out of time, with only enough left to acknowledge the fine work of our award-winning production team, including Chuck Itzenthaler, Lisa Ferguson, and Tom McGrady. Special thanks to JBTV's Jerry Bryant. Music is created for us by Fireside Recording Studio in Westchester, Illinois, and by independent artist Roger Potley and Jerry Herbert. Of course, we have to take a moment to thank the stars of this edition of Motorsports Unlimited, Gloria Walters, Susan Russell, and our host, Bill Wildt. Me, I'm Peggy O'Donnell, taking just a moment to thank Don French for letting us use his sleds again, and to remind you one more time about how important it is to stay on the trails. Oh, one more thing, don't forget to give us some feedback regarding how the small camera footage looks on your set. Enjoy the snowmobile season. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
This program made possible in part by support from ABC Auto Parts, located on Ashland Avenue and 138th Street in Blue Island, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Copy That, located in Carroll Stream, Illinois.
Motorsports Unlimited is produced by Bill Wildt, president of the Motorsport Advancement Crusade.
This program made possible in part by support from Jimmy's Red Hots, located on Grain Avenue and Pulaski Road in Chicago.
This program made possible in part by support from J.C. Whitney & Company, located just off I-80 at the Utica exit in LaSalle, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Bridgestone Firestone and your local Bridgestone Firestone tire retailers.
Motorsports Unlimited was created to raise public consciousness, understanding, and appreciation of the motorsport community and their activities. You can contact us by email at msutv.com, or you can write to Motorsport, P.O. Box 66242, Chicago, Illinois, 60666. We enjoy hearing from our audience. Please let us know what you think.
Next week on Motorsports Unlimited, we're planning something very special. We've become aware of some real Bonneville Salt Flats enthusiasts in the Chicagoland area, and they have plenty of beautifully produced material shot there. We know you're going to like this. Next week on Motorsports Unlimited.
And the bike and everything was still running great, and it had all the bugs out, see, the drag kit. So I'm going to just change the gearing out there.
So that's it, another edition of Motorsports Unlimited and the lovely ladies of motorsports. And be with us next week because we'll have something real exciting. Bill Wildt's going to have the lovely ladies, and just about anything can happen right here on Motorsports Unlimited. Every week at this time, we bring you the best in motorsports. So be seeing ya. Bye-bye, and keep on rocking.